Welcome to a Culture Course production where we help you attract top talent and create a company culture where your team can thrive. All right, in this week's episode, we're talking about employee performance reviews. They're dumb. And Forbes Magazine backed that up with this article titled, "Employee performance reviews are pointless and insulting, so why do they still exist?" So even Forbes, a very well-known magazine and authority in the business world, is saying that employee performance reviews are a bad idea. In the article, it went through a bevy of different things as to why they're a bad idea. But as a whole, I'll sum it up for you. It goes like this. Going into an employee performance review, the person and the employee that's headed into it either has a high level of anxiety, so they're not going to be themselves. They're fearful of what might come, what you might be communicating that you haven't communicated over the last 90 days since their last performance review, or the last year since the last performance review, however long it takes you to do them. They're not going to be themselves because they have that anxiety. They're not going to be transparent. And if you're looking for any feedback, it's going to be hard for them to trust to want to give it. Moreover, most employee performance reviews, they talk about certain goals and things basically for the sake of you have to, right? All the management books, all those things tell us, hey, you need to do performance reviews. This is why you need to do them. And they have processes and systems on which you do it. You got these papers, you're filling out blanks, you're writing in goals, you're writing in numbers, but for what? There really isn't a purpose to them, and the employee feels that. And then the worst case is most of the management books say, okay, if you want your employees to perform well in these performance reviews, you're going to create goals for them that are slightly above what you know that they can accomplish. Maybe you looked at last quarter's or last year's or last month's numbers, and you say they were here. I'm going to put things up so that they reach to try and get those. The problem with that is, if you're creating a goal for them that's not achievable, they may reach towards that, not get it, and then be discouraged because they didn't get the goal. And sometimes employees will respond in these reviews mentally, internally, and say, why are they giving me this goal if they know that I can't meet it? And they will walk out of that employee performance review feeling defeated. Look, employees are not themselves in these. They're not going to give you the feedback you want. You're not going to get what you need out of it. The goals that are typically created in it don't do anything but discourage the employee. And here's the biggest thing. Doing employee performance reviews on a quarterly or annual basis is insulting because it's not helpful to helping them get to the place that they want to be on a day-to-day basis. As we talked about many times before in this show, employees want to know how they're doing, and they want to know if they're doing it right, and they want it in real time. Okay, this week's episode is brought to you by Culture Course. CultureCourse.com is an online course that you can take at your leisure, on your time, in the comfort of your own home, sitting in your pajamas on your computer if you'd like, that teaches you how to build a thriving team. Gives you the step-by-step processes to hiring, firing, walking you through how to do real good reviews, goal setting, accountability, and everything that you have questions on that you need to build a quality company culture. Josh Lewis is one of the people at Buy Wise Mortgage. He's one of the owners there. He actually makes Facebook videos all the time talking about the mortgage industry, which is really helpful. And him and his team are really great at helping people get loans, even though they might have an excessive amount of student loans. He's an awesome guy with that. But we're in the process of wanting to do a reset on their culture. They wanted to redo it all. Bring in new faces, new fresh people, and potentially look at letting go some of the other people that were currently there. Culture Course can help you do that. He is a student in the course and walking through that himself. CultureCourse.com. Thank you, Josh, for being a student in Culture Course. All right, so your rebuttal to this might be, hey, look, again, all the management books say I'm supposed to do this, Grant. You're telling me, and Forbes is telling me, I shouldn't be doing this thing that everyone else has told me. I went to a business school, went to management school, and they told me I need to do performance reviews. Right. But many of those people who were giving that advice, people who were writing those books, either created these ideals in a manufacturing society years and years and years ago in the 50s, 60s, 70s, even 80s, when most businesses were in manufacturing. It's a very, very different world now. It's a very different world now in our society, and we behave and respond to things extremely different. And the study in this particular Forbes article proves that over countless people that have gone through this, they don't like performance reviews and they're not helpful to what you're trying to do. So, what should you do? What should your response be? What is your call to action this week? Stop doing performance reviews. Do real-time accountability. And let people know how they're doing every single day. We had an affirmation episode previously where I've talked about this, but people want to know again how they're doing. They want to know how they're doing right away. Think about it yourself. Put yourself in an employee's shoes. If they're doing something wrong, if you're doing something wrong, do you want your boss or your supervisor or anyone to wait 3 months before they tell you, or worse, 12 months before they tell you that you've done it wrong and you continue to keep doing it wrong, and that impacts your performance or limits the impact you're making on the community based on how you're trying to work? No. Now let's flip the script. Let's say it's not about doing something wrong, but you've done something right. Wouldn't you like to know in real time that if you're doing something the right way, that you are doing it the right way so that you can attack the day tomorrow doing that thing again? Having the encouragement and the affirmation to make that happen. You guys, real-time responses and affirmations and accountability are a very, very, very big deal. So, your call to action, stop scheduling performance reviews and start giving accountability in real time. When you see somebody doing something awesome, tell them. When you see somebody doing something that's not so awesome, tell them. Do it right away. Give real-time feedback. This is a big deal. Next week's episode, we're actually going to talk about how to give real-time accountability and what processes and steps you can take to make it happen easier. We'll see you guys next week.